Welcome back to Or Something Like That, the podcast where you can talk shit with your besties. We're your besties and your hosts, Sam
and Hollis. Thanks for being here. Now let's start the show.
Hello.
Hello.
So, snowpocalypse.
Oh, man.
2025.
Yeah, for real. 2 days, well, not right in a row, but 2 storms back to back.
I've been stuck in my house with my children this is the first time I've been out of the house, aside from going to the gym on Friday morning. And I barely got to the gym and home before it started snowing again. Today would have been day 6.
Whew. Oh my God. How many laundry room sits did you do?
The longest winter break of all time.
Is oldest daughter back in school yet or
no? She didn't go to school at all last week.
Would she have or would...
Yeah. She would, and she only goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so, but in the majority of the storm happened on Monday, so she had school on Wednesday, but we couldn't get there because they didn't plow our road until like 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's crazy that the first one, I mean, the roads in town were clear.
Everybody was cruising around town for sure, and then I'm just out here like,
I couldn't believe that. Well, and this last one wasn't so bad. It snowed a lot in a short amount of time, but it cleared up quickly. I feel like it wasn't as hard to clear from.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it snowed for like 36 hours probably.
Yeah.
And like 12 or 14 inches.
Did it really accumulate that much?
I mean, at our house it did.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it just depends. We have a lot of areas that are just like completely untouched. And like, it was taller than a ruler.
Wow. Taller than a ruler.
Taller than a ruler.
There you go. Heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
Taller than a ruler.
So, I don't know. I guess this is supposed to be like the snowiest winter or January we've had in decades.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember it being this snowy for a long time.
No. I mean, it used to snow. I feel like it used to snow a lot when we were kids.
Yeah.
And now, since I've been an adult, there was one year, this was maybe like 12, maybe even 15 years ago now, when I was working at Yogi's, and it snowed a lot over Christmas, like Christmas Day, I think it started, and then the day after, and I was supposed to work either the day after or maybe the 27th. And I mean, they closed. I mean, everything was closed and you couldn't.
I mean, that's really when you want it.
Well, of course.
You want the snow on Christmas, and then it's like,
heck yeah. I don't need it after. I need my child to go back to school so I can go to the bathroom by myself.
Yeah. I'd love to be able to take my dog out without her being covered in snow. That'd be nice.
Right.
And it's just like, I'm sick of the wet. The snow's pretty, but like everything's wet. It's
well,
and
like, the second it gets touched, it's disgusting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, also, PSA to dog owners, it's very crucial to pick up your dog's shit when it's snowy. I mean, there's nothing worse than like, oh, look at this beautiful snow
and then
set, and then here's a bunch of turds. Like, come on, guys.
Also, it like kind of hides it. Not fair. I'm not trying to like step on that in the snow.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Like,
when it melts, it's just going to be like, okay. Yeah. I know. And it is funny because there's a lot of dogs around here. So, I mean, there's just
everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So lovely.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's supposed to clear off for a week, and then I think the next week it's supposed to snow again.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Man, I really got to start paying more attention to the weather. I don't ever look forward more than like the day.
I mean,
unless something's happening,
I mean, Hollis, I feel like you haven't truly transitioned into adulthood unless you spend a significant amount of your time looking at, thinking about, and talking about the weather.
Yeah, I don't think I have.
Yeah.
Man. Just a young soul over here in an old soul's body. Or something like that.
So we had our first tooth fairy.
Oh.
At least our first tooth fairy in the home.
Oh.
So my 5-year-old lost her first tooth when she was at grandma's house, and it was like I didn't even know she had a loose tooth, and I just went to like pick her up, and they're like, "Oh, she lost a tooth." I'm like, "What?
She's got teeth?"
Well, I felt like it was a little early because she was still 4 then.
Yeah.
I was like, that feels early. But then I was talking to some other parents, and they're like, no, that's about the time it starts, like 4 or 5.
Wasn't she like writing books like a year ago too? She's a very developed child.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
She's smarter than me. That's for sure.
I was just like thinking for some reason it felt more like school age to me. Like, I was like, you're not even.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I don't know. So I was a little stressful. Not that.
Well, that seems like a particularly hard one to pull off.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like toddlers, young kids, I mean, they sleep heavy. They do. But mine are both in the same room together too. So it's like, I got to sneak in here. Well, and here's, I think, what saved me. And I may need to be more strategic about it in the future because this was sort of just like a happy accident. I was rinsing the tooth. Gross. And I know. And I really lost teeth in a child is disgusting to me. I don't like it. I don't like to see the hole. I don't like when people share pictures.
No, or like videos of the pole.
No. It's not for me. Gross. So I was rinsing the tooth and it went down the drain.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh shit. And my 5-year-old's looking at me like, oh no.
Oh, she was this is post all this stuff.
Oh yeah. So she had just pulled it out and I'm rinsing it and down it goes. And I go, oh. Uh-oh. And she goes, what? No. I was like, it's okay. She goes, the tooth fairy's still gonna bring me something. I said, yeah. We'll just leave her a note that says, hey, I dropped my tooth down the drain. My mom dropped my tooth down the drain. I'm like, it'll be okay. She'll still bring something. So then, of course, that she fixated on that. Then that was the rest of the day. Is the tooth fairy
writing the note?
And I'm like, yes, but still, like asking me a million times, are you sure the tooth fairy's still gonna bring me? Yes, I'm sure the tooth fairy's still gonna bring you something. So we write the note like, tooth fairy, my mom dropped my
dumbass
mom dropped my tooth
straight down the drain.
Yada yada whatever. So luckily, I didn't have to retrieve the tooth from under the pillow.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, that would be hard to do.
Yeah, in the beginning for whatever reason, and she put the note under her bed, which was fine, but I also felt like it wasn't going to be like super important that I retrieved the note, like the tooth fairy not necessarily have to take the note. Mm-hmm. So I had my little 50-cent pieces and my $1, and I wrote a note back to her and was like, no worries about dropping the tooth down the drain. It's fine, Mom.
Moms make mistakes too.
That's right. Okay? We're not perfect. And I said, I have too many teeth at home anyways.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sick. A little quip in there.
That's right. So it ended up being fine because I didn't have to like dig under the pillow. I just tiptoed in and like stuck the thing, just wherever in the bed. I wasn't like super concerned about it being under the pillow. But then, I was thinking about it right after and I was like, I'm kind of glad I dropped the tooth down the drain.
Yeah.
And now in the future, I'm going to have to be thinking about where we put the tooth.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I can't
Why don't we leave it on the coffee table?
Yeah. Why don't we put it here on the dresser to make it a little easier for the tooth fairy?
Yeah. No, because I have thought about that. It was just like, how the hell do you?
And I never caught my mom doing it.
No, me either.
So, I mean, I guess
it's not that hard.
Yeah. It felt stressful in the moment, though. I was like, I'm like tiptoeing in. And of course, they're both in there. So I'm like, if I wake even one of them up, it's over.
Yeah.
Because they'll wake the other one up. If I wake my youngest up, she'll get up. And
here's a question. When you're writing that note, do you change your handwriting? Because I remember my mom has very specific handwriting.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a Christmas where I was looking at the note and I was like, wait a minute. This says from Santa, but it's in your handwriting. I was like, I figured it out.
Yeah.
Called her out. And she was just like, what do you mean?
So with the tooth fairy note, I didn't. When we wrote the note to her from Santa, I did kind of.
Yeah.
Not like super, but like a little bit. Yeah. So I think I wrote it in all caps just to kind of like.
Well, I mean, at 5, she probably has no idea, but I think I was,
older.
Old enough. My mom was like, well, the jig is up anyways. Like, you're old enough to know.
Right.
So, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Santa had me write the notes for him.
That's right. Santa dictated it and I wrote it. That's how it works.
Santa actually can't read or write. Little known fact. So everything is dictated for Santa.
That's right. So I ordered the adaptogen drinks.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And they do have, quote unquote, a small amount of THC in them. However, it is derived from the hemp plant and it's federally compliant. Okay. So it's not like real.
We're not,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right, cool.
I ordered some. I think we should.
We're about to be so chill on this podcast, guys.
Yeah, we'll see.
So relaxed. Have you started your castor oil pulling?
Not yet. So, and this is another thing that I was going to talk about, because when we did our New Year's episode and I said I wanted to be like more intentional about my consumption. So I've decided this is a new thing I'm doing where I'm making an Amazon, you can make lists in Amazon. I'm making a list so like I placed an order for January, and then anything else that I'm like, oh, I kind of want that, or I want to try this, I want to do that, I'm putting it on my February list. So I'm only doing a one order per month. And then when it comes time to do my order in February, I'm going to go look at my list, because I guarantee you about half the things I'll be over it.
Yeah.
And honestly, just like looking for the product I want or doing like the product comparison and then adding it to the list is giving me that dopamine hit.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. It's like filling up your shopping bag. And then I do that all the time.
Yeah.
And then I just don't purchase anything.
Right.
But it's nice just to be like, ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put it in my cart.
So I am going to do the castor oil thing, but there's two different. So there's disposable packs that you can use, and then they have reusable ones that you can like wash. So what I want to do is I want to get a box of the disposable packs to start, just to see if it works, if it even works. And if it does, then I'll use those, and then I'm going to get a reusable one, because I feel like the disposable ones are kind of wasteful, but I don't want to buy a reusable one to start,
right?
Because I don't know if it's even going to work or like do anything.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with that.
Well, I love your plan for list making.
Yeah.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
And because that's true. I feel like I do that too.
Sometimes you're just looking for that dopamine hit.
Yeah,
honestly.
and I also just need to think about it for a little bit, and like maybe like I'll be over it by a
little less impulsive.
Yeah.
The other thing I did order for my January order, which is again like not taking my own advice from our body image episode, but I ordered a collagen supplement.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I mean, collagen has more benefits than just like vanity benefits, I mean, it's good for your joints and your bones, which I feel like as women is like super important, especially if you've had children, and then like going through menopause, we lose a lot of like bone density and stuff. But so I did some research. I ordered that. It's going to be here on Tuesday. Nice. So it's supposed to like, it benefits digestion too, and like all kinds of stuff. So we'll see.
Nice.
We'll see how it goes.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Supplement it up, baby.
That's right.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I've been trying to, because we're not drinking, which has been going splendidly.
It has been. It feels
great.
Really nice.
Yeah, and I really haven't struggled with it at all.
No.
But
and to be honest, like I don't know, other than like the one time that we got together in like the evening, I don't know that there would have even been a time that I would have anyway.
Yeah, no. Especially like this time of year being snowed in or whatever, but it has been great so far. But now I'm trying to pull back on my sugar and my caffeine.
Oh, yeah.
And that has been hard.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I kind of have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Your girl likes a sweet treat at night, and it's been a tough one to quit. I swear I feel so bad for people with food addiction. That's got to be such a hard one, because you have to eat all the time, and it's everywhere.
Yeah. It's not something you can just like stop doing or like go to rehab for.
Right. And sugar is so addictive.
Yeah.
I feel like, because my body does start to crave it at night. I feel like it really does.
I never really had much of a sweet tooth until my first pregnancy, and then that kind of changed. Like I used to not like chocolate.
I know.
And and then I got pregnant with my first child, and I just like I started craving like ice cream and like pie and stuff. And then I started to like chocolate, and I still am not like, I don't know, like I can kind of take it or leave it. But the thing is, it's the addictive like craving thing. Like if I have it a couple of nights in a row, then I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
But like once I kick it, then it's like I don't.
Same. And see, I didn't ever, I mean, as a kid, sure. But then as a young adult, it was really whatever to me.
Yeah.
Like I never really got dessert.
Yeah.
But it's come with age, I feel like, that I like and to indulge.
Now the snack,
and it's
the
also
nighttime
boredom.
snack has to happen.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like that's what it is.
Doesn't have to be sugar.
Yeah. Well, that's I think mostly what it is. It's boredom. It's like I want a snack, but then at night it's like I think sugar is what I want in the evenings.
See, I'm a salt savory girl. Like I want cheese and cured meat.
Yeah.
You know,
I do too, but like not. There's a time where I'm just like I don't want to cured meat right now.
There's always time for cured meat all the times.
Yeah, I do. I also love ice cream so much.
Yeah, see, that's mostly what I ate when I was pregnant. It was like I ate a lot of ice cream, and I never was an ice cream person before that.
Yeah. Have you had Jenny's ice cream?
No, but I feel like you've talked about it before.
Yeah, so it's super expensive. Oh my God, I could die eating that stuff. It's so good. I almost splurged on it yesterday, and I was like, no, I'm not doing it.
Just have some celery and peanut butter.
I know. Just be happy with your hummus and carrot sticks.
God.
But I have been doing and the caffeine too. Like
the caffeine, yeah.
That's a tough one. I love a cup of coffee in the afternoon.
Oh.
Like I drink it in the morning, but I really love to drink coffee at like 2 or 3 p.m. and I have to stop.
Yeah.
It's that lull, you know, where it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can make it the next 3 hours of work, and I love to get.
Have you tried? Because here's the thing. I always say that. Here's the thing. Like there's only one thing. Here's the thing. When I got pregnant with my first, before I went to my first doctor's appointment, like you just always heard like, oh, you can't have caffeine when you're pregnant. And listen, every provider is different. Every person is different. You know, according to my provider, you can have a little. It's just like a certain amount, you know. But before I went to the doctor when I was pregnant, the first time I just switched to decaf. And I remember being like, oh, God, this is going to suck so bad. I didn't notice a huge difference. I really think for me, it's more about the ritual.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And I feel like, yeah, I didn't notice a huge difference. And I'm somebody that drinks 2, maybe 3 cups of coffee in the morning, and that's it. And I don't drink caffeine throughout the day. I don't drink soda. I don't drink iced tea. I don't drink coffee later in the day. So I know some people get like headaches. That wasn't an issue for me. Maybe just because I only drink it in the mornings. Yeah, I didn't notice a huge difference.
Yeah, and you know, it's really dumb, and it makes me wonder about my brain because I have kind of been switching to green tea.
Yeah.
And
that's caffeinated, right?
It is caffeinated, but it's not as, and I mean, depending on how you make it, it can have a lot of caffeine in it, but it doesn't make me feel as bad. And that's the thing about caffeine. I'm pretty sensitive to it.
Yeah.
And if I get a 16-ounce iced coffee, I cannot drink the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's usually like 2 days of coffee for me.
Yeah.
But I continue to drink them, even though I feel bad.
Right.
After I drink it. And I have a hard time not drinking more than I should, you know,
right.
'cause I love it so much, blah. And I have noticed I drink green tea. I feel a lot better. I don't consume as much because it's not as, you know, satisfying.
Right.
But yeah, like the other day I hadn't had an iced coffee in probably a week and a half, and I was like, it was like 2 p.m. I was like, I'm getting one.
Yeah.
And I got it, and I felt like 3 sips, and I was like, this is great. And then I was like, this feels awful.
Right.
So I kind of learned my lesson.
That initial caffeine hit does.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is something to be said for that for sure. And I'm definitely like a vacation me is having a nice coffee in the afternoon. Like, you know, but just in my regular life, I don't. Yeah, and it is one of those things where there have been a lot of studies that have shown that a small amount of caffeine in the morning is good for cognitive function. It is.
Yeah.
But most people overdo it, and that's the problem. And I think too much it's not good for like your gut microbiome. It's not, you know.
And that's the thing. It's horrible for my sleep. Like yesterday, you know, Saturday is usually my day to indulge in a nice coffee. It's kind of how I've set it up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to do it during the week,
right,
so that I can concentrate on feeling good for work. But Saturday is like fair game, and I had a nice coffee kind of too late, and then I also had a yerba mate.
And then you had to go on a run at, at 11:30 at night.
And then I slept horribly last night. And I was like, no wonder you consumed your own weight in caffeine.
Yeah.
So stop doing that.
Yeah. Well, we're not perfect people.
No, it is a constant struggle. And
we'll work on it.
I know I've gone on about this ad nauseum, but it does. It's like, I have struggled with this with caffeine consumption for years.
Right.
How is it this difficult? Just don't do it. It makes you feel bad. Stop doing it.
Yeah, I know.
But
I know. Well,
I have to have my at least one vice.
That's right. We have to have our vices. I've cured meats is my vice. If anything's going to kill me, it's going to be the cured salted meats.
Trash reality TV, also one of my vices.
Well, but that's also like our podcast livelihood. So
yeah. Also, I'm trying not to describe it as a guilty pleasure, because whatever, it's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yep. Not guilty.
Okay. I think we've caught up.
Yeah, it's about what's going on with me.
What do you have for your spill?
I mean, not a whole lot other than I started my new job. I really love it. It is night and day difference. It's just such a less stressful atmosphere, and I've been enjoying it so much already.
Good.
And it's made my life, really great.
Yeah, I'm very happy for you. I think this is a much better journey for you.
Yeah, just been surviving the snow, hanging out with my dog. That's about it.
That's about it. Just living my normal life.
Yeah, new year, new me. Yeah, exactly. Not too many exciting things going on outside of that.
Okay, well, one thing I have to talk about, and I meant to tell you to like listen to a song, and I forgot, but that's okay. So I've been listening to the Spice Girls.
Oh yeah, just like casual listening.
Yeah, at home.
Hell yeah.
And my 5-year-old's been listening to it too. The lyrics are completely nonsensical.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Absolutely makes zero sense.
Yeah. If you want to be my lover, you got to get with my friends. I mean, that's even just like,
and
barely dips the toe into the water. But
all of the songs have like an underlying theme, whether it's like friendship or like having a good time or some kind of romantic relationship. But the lyrics make zero sense.
Man, that's funny. I'll have to give it a listen again.
Yeah.
It pops up every once in a while. A Spice Girls song will pop up on my Spotify, and I'm like, "Ooh, yeah!"
And they're catchy and they're great, and you're singing every word. But yeah, no sense at all, zero.
And it's so funny, to think when we were girls that we just like paid no attention to what the lyrics actually were saying.
And at first, I was like, "Is all pop music like this? Did none of the lyrics make sense?" They do. No, they do.
Yeah,
yeah. For the most part, they do. So the Spice Girls, it's like very.
Yeah.
It's specific to them.
I wonder if it's like British pop music.
Could be.
Specific.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. I don't know. But anyway.
Man, the Spice Girls. Which one did you want to be? Everyone had one.
Everyone wanted to be Baby Spice. I
know.
Feel like.
Which I would have guessed she was blonde.
Yeah. Because she was blonde and like.
See, I wanted to be Ginger because she was sexy and I was the opposite of sexy when I was younger. So
she also looked the most like her.
I do?
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
Thank you.
No, I started out loving Scary. I wanted to be Scary. She was
she was cool. Yeah.
And then it kind of turned into Ginger.
I just feel like Baby Spice was the most like the American pop stars.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
the Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera of it all, the blonde hair, and everybody's like, I want to be Baby Spice.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know who's had like the best career is Sporty.
No, Posh.
Oh, well, Posh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But Sporty was also like an EDM star for a while.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
She's the one who put the kibosh on the tour. When they were going to do a reunion tour, she was the one that was like, I'm not doing it. So she's on my shit list.
Yeah. All right, never mind.
Never mind, Sporty. No, I'm just kidding. Like,
oh my God, can you imagine if they went on tour again? We would have to go.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
That would be the best.
Yeah, we would be doing that, singing the nonsensical lyrics at the top of our lungs in the crowd. Absolutely.
Man, I would die and go to heaven. And the movie was so good.
I mean, it was so bad.
Yeah, but it was like kind of purposely. I feel like it was camp.
It was, for sure. I mean, it was so bad.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Man.
We need to rewatch that maybe.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
You know, we have to do that whole like series. I feel like we're gonna have to find movies, so we need to do reviews of Titanic.
Yeah, we're doing
Spice
Titanic.
World.
That's coming soon. We're doing a Titanic review up. Oh, speaking of which, so I'm in this horror movie group on Facebook, and somebody posted. People sometimes just like post questions, and the question was, what horror movie character didn't deserve to die the way they died? And I commented Jack Dawson.
Oh, it's so true.
And a couple people liked it, and then somebody was like,
it's a funny comment.
Somebody commented and said, it's supposed to be a horror movie. And I was like, have you seen it? That's the most terrifying thing I can think of.
Do you know how many people died in the sinking of the Titanic?
Survival horror at its finest. Are you kidding me?
For real.
So anyway.
That was a good comment.
Yeah. So we'll be doing a little review of Titanic in an episode because
we have a lot to say.
We have a lot to say. Titanic, aside from body image, Titanic is probably my Roman Empire.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I mean, it's heavily quoted in our friendship and others.
Yeah. And it's something I think about a lot. The movie and just that and the sinking of the boat in general.
I mean, it is a historical moment in my lifetime. I mean, the
movie.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, what are you talking
about? Not Titanic, the movie.
Yeah.
And
oh my God.
that era of Leonardo DiCaprio was, a monumental phase in my life.
Yeah. I definitely saw it in the theater like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, I think I saw it 11 times in the theater. Yeah. I was obsessed. You were obsessed. Like, it was pathological. It was a borderline concerning how obsessed I was with Leonardo DiCaprio at the time.
Well, you're too old for him now.
Yeah. Oh, I've been too old. But I'll save all the juicy details. We could talk about that in the Titanic episode because it is pretty funny. I'll pull out some relics I think my mom has saved over the years.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed. I can't wait. Okay, one more thing that I just have to. I know we talked about this on the last one, but like I have to talk about it because I'm obsessed and it's just so insane and bizarre and like I just can't deal. I have to expand a little bit on this Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively saga. Okay, so you had asked me when we talked about on the last episode, you had said something like, so like, what do you know about this guy? Like, and I was like, nothing basically, right? Until like this movie. So I did some research. It is so wild, you guys. Okay. If you already know all of this, I'm sorry, but like
I don't know any of it. So.
I have to talk about it. So, this is a guy who has basically crafted his entire reputation and partially like built his career on being an ally. He has a podcast called Man Enough where he talks about male privilege and toxic masculinity.
Huh.
Okay? He reached out to Colleen Hoover, the author of the book, wanting to adapt the book to a screenplay because of how strongly he felt about the content of the book.
Wow.
And these themes in the book. Okay? He has a production company, Wayfarer Productions, with Mr. Heath, who's the other guy that's referenced in the complaint. So he reaches out, wants to make this movie with his production company, insists that he stars in it as the character, the protagonist character, and is allegedly doing all of this stuff to Blake Lively on the set of this movie.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, what on earth? There's something so dark about this. I just...
Like, is it just like an elaborate ruse? Like his, I don't know, passion for uncovering male toxic masculinity to like cover up the fact that he is a perpetuator himself?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I don't like. That's what's so bizarre about this. I mean, to have this be your whole persona and then you are the one who wants to make this movie and star in this movie as this person who you allegedly are in real life.
Yeah.
And then, and this is the other thing, and I should have researched this and I didn't, and I will. I almost wonder, I'm not sure exactly how Blake Lively got involved with the project. I don't know because if he specifically reached out to her to be involved in the project too, then it really gets dark and twisted too. Yeah. I mean, it's already like so insane, but it's almost like, was this some kind of like master plan to like bring her down the entire time? Like he does all this stuff on set everything that we laid out in the complaint. Him and the guy, that he has the production company with, they bring it to his attention. He's like, no, we're not changing anything. She finally refuses to film until something's done about it. And the second he starts to realize, like, this is going to start to come out, he hires this crisis PR team, crafts this entire narrative that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are these Hollywood bullies, and does this whole thing to discredit her. And it's like, it makes me wonder too, when I think about some other female actresses who have kind of like disappeared from Hollywood.
Yeah. Oh,
is this why?
I bet. Absolutely. And, for someone who says he claims to be, have a podcast on
it's called Man Enough, and it's centered around male privilege and toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Are you insane? But
that is his reaction to someone claiming that his misbehavior. You
right.
think someone who is educated in that and is passionate about it, that would not be, they would have an opposite reaction than what he had.
It's because it's all bullshit, Hollis. It's complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if is this just like a level of narcissism that's like so insane that this person intentionally took this route in life as like a counteraction to try to hide his behavior and like dupe all these people?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
He's been dropped because I think he co-hosts the podcast. He's been dropped from the podcast, of course. But it's just like, what on earth is happening here? I mean,
man, it makes me want to listen to the podcast and like just to hear what kind of things they talk about.
Yeah.
Or like what their supposed take is, if this is how he behaves in real world situations where things like this actually happen. I wonder what their conversations are about it,
I mean, it's so bizarre. I can't get over it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what?
Yeah, that's crazy. And it does. I think you've heard that over the years from, I'm not going to be able to come up with anyone in particular.
Well, like,
where you're talking about celebrities who disappeared.
So I was thinking
a lot
about,
of times.
remember when Katherine Heigl kind of just like disappeared and the whole underlying sentiment was that she's this bitch
right
on set and like that she's just like awful to people and all this stuff. And I'm like,
she just had healthy boundaries and like
exactly exactly. She probably was like, I'm not going to take this harassment or like behavior or whatever's happening.
Yeah.
And somebody probably started putting out hit pieces like similarly, because that's the thing, like it's literally this whole narrative was crafted off of Blake Lively talking about her hair care and this one interview video where she was slightly rude maybe.
Yeah.
And the fact that her husband came to the HR meeting.
Yeah.
To support her.
Right.
And then it's this whole, all of a sudden, like, oh, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are being these bullies and trying to swoop in and, like, change all this stuff and, like, take over the movie. And it's like, what? Like,
yeah. Well, and I mean, I think a lot of victims of Harvey Weinstein, that was exactly their story,
absolutely.
Too. And I mean, that's a very extreme case with, physical assault.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of those were, like, up-and-coming actresses, and they disappeared. Because, not only because they were traumatized, but also because he ruined them.
He ruined their
reputation.
Yeah. And, Harvey Weinstein wasn't out here talking about being a supporter of women.
He was kind of blatant about it.
Yeah. And here's this guy, like.
Yeah, that's what's really gross about it. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
And it's. Yeah,
not that I'm not condoning Harvey Weinstein.
Oh,
but
no.
It's just,
it's sick to think the lengths that people will go.
Yes.
To I don't know, present themselves in a different way. Yeah.
I mean, it's so strange. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I plan to follow this as it progresses and talk about it ad nauseum because I have to. Right now, as we're recording this, I haven't read anything for a couple of days. But as of right now, I think the complaint is still just filed with the California Civil Rights Department. I don't think it's been like filed in court yet as a lawsuit. So we'll wait and see what happens. But
does he have any previous incidents? Like, are there any other
I don't
claims
think
against
so.
him previously?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Interesting. But, you know, and I don't know, I hesitate to even say this because I do 100% believe Blake Lively's claims, but it is
justice for Blake. I mean...
100%. But it is, when I get into celebrity territory, though, it's also just like, what do you believe, though? What is true and what isn't?
No, I know.
Are we... I mean, it's all speculation.
I know.
To a certain degree.
It's hard. I know. And it is one of those things where, of course, there are allegations that happen that don't have any basis, too. So it's like, I don't want to sit here and say that never happens, because it does. And I understand that. Also, I want to say, too, on the last episode, I kept talking about, you know, the way these cases like tend to be litigated is that they're trying to discredit the other. Unfortunately, no one's really trying to find the truth of what happened.
Yeah.
It's all about discrediting the opposing party. And
that's what I mean about who to believe, because so much of what is put out there is made up by PR people.
Exactly.
So
they're going to take anything and spin it, you know, to their favor. And, you know, when I was talking about that, I kept saying that this is a reason why a lot of women don't come forward. And I just want to correct myself. I should have said victim. I want to just say that I understand and acknowledge that men are also victims of this. It's just this particular case is a woman. And so I said women don't come forward, or, you know, that this happens to women, but I fully understand that it happens to men as well. And it's one of the reasons why victims don't come forward, because they're already afraid of what's going to happen. You know, it's always some kind of power dynamic typically. And even when they do decide they want to come forward and they realize, you know, after they meet with attorneys what's going to happen, they decide not to go through with it because they just want to move on with their lives. Like, it may be easier, to just try and move on and move forward with this and go on about my life instead of, So, and that's the other thing that's like kind of wild about this to me, is that Blake Lively is a huge star. So the fact that like she does have the power dynamic was more, I would say, equal in this situation than a lot of like the Harvey Weinsteins of it all, where he was like going after, I think, actresses that were maybe a little less established. And like, you know, that tends to be, I think, a strategy, unfortunately, of a lot of these predators. But yeah, it's surprising to me. I mean, she is very famous and has a lot of pull. So the fact that he thought she might just like walk away from this quietly and like she ain't.
Yeah, and it's not 15 years ago.
Right.
You know, things are different.
This is a post-Me Too world.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so yeah, the whole thing is just so wild to me. So we'll see what happens with it. And yeah, I'll be continuing to talk about it.
Stay tuned, guys. We will keep you updated.
Tuned.
Well, should we get into...
So we told you to bring your foil hats last week, but this is the week for the foil hats.
Yeah.
We're talking conspiracy theories.
Dun, dun, dun. But the fun ones.
The fun ones. Yeah, the fun ones.
Even though I will say...
They're all a little bit fun.
Yeah, but it is... I feel like conspiracy theories used to be... Oh, ha ha ha, conspiracy theories. Unfortunately, talking about conspiracy theories now is a little different because I feel like they have bled into politics, which is scary. We're not going down that route.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're going to try to stay as
but it is because I kept like
politically neutral as possible.
Yeah, but it is like I feel like it's worth at least a mention that like man, conspiracy theories used to be just like a good time. I mean, unless you were a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
For myself, it was almost like entertainment. Like, I love a good conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
I love to chuckle at a good conspiracy theories. But in the last 5 years or so, I feel like they've gotten...
Well, the internet has...
Yeah.
The internet and social media has played a big role in that.
Yeah, and they've bled into actually having an effect on legislation and like the way things go, which is crazy. But today we're just going to be talking about the good old ones.
Yeah, we're just having fun, Hollis.
So, well, that's what I just said.
God. Okay. Since we talked about the drones last week, we'll just start there because I didn't even ask you, do you believe that the drones exist?
I believe people think they see drones. I was reading more about it, and I think most of them, I think, are proven to not be drones. Most of the reports of drones are just schmoes calling in and being like, I saw a drone, and it's usually a plane or a star or something else. Or, I mean, I guess some of them have been corroborated as drones, but also lots of people can fly drones. Doesn't mean they're, government drones that are meant to spy on us. You know what I mean? So do I think, and that's how I feel about a lot of things like aliens and ghosts. Do I think people think they see them? Do I believe their experience?
A madman sees what he sees.
Yes. But do I believe they're all drones? No.
Yeah.
Or I'm sure a lot of them are drones. They're just not the nefarious kind that people think. And then I think people, drop all these crazy conclusions about them that is not true.
I think it's kind of a snowball effect. Do I believe the drones exist? Yeah. I think there's too many people coming out and saying that they've seen them. And do I think that it's possible the government's involved? Absolutely. The government's doing all kinds of shit that we don't know about, I do believe that the technology is way more advanced than we even know about. Do I think they're aliens? No. I think the more likely explanation is that, our government or our military or someone's government or military is doing something that we don't have the information about.
Yeah, or some individual. Yeah, out there
or
flying
the Elon
a drone.
Musks of it all.
Yeah, do they exist? Are they out there? Sure.
Yeah.
We have drones, so are people flying them? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think what people need to get to what people want to get to the bottom of is what is the purpose of them.
Right.
And that, could be anything.
Yeah.
There could be many reasons why there's drones flying around.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it's so much. That one almost the more I read about it, I was like, I don't really know if this is a conspiracy theory or if it's just a thing that
but
people...
I think that's what a lot of conspiracy theories are. It starts with something benign.
Yeah.
And then it snowballs into something
right
bigger, So, I don't know. Time will tell, I suppose.
Yeah.
We'll see if it just goes away or...
If it continues.
Well,
I'm sure it'll continue forever because drones aren't going anywhere.
No, drones aren't going anywhere for sure. Stay tuned for drones.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. These are kind of connected. Aliens. Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, again, I feel like my take is kind of similar on all these. Yes,
okay, you can't have the same take on every conspiracy theory, Alice.
Well, yes, I can. Oh, yeah. Do I believe alien life exists? 100%.
Yeah.
Do I have an idea of what they look like? No. I know this is so hard because I feel like, yes, obviously the likelihood that some other life form exists.
Scientifically.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But I also feel like the likelihood that they would even be close enough to us to know we're here or to want to make contact with us also seems like that's where the conspiracy comes in.
Right.
Well, it's like then us as a people have decided to make a story out of it,
Right. So yeah, I think just scientifically it's almost impossible that they don't exist. The environment exists on other planets, not in this solar system, but in this galaxy and the entire universe. Absolutely. Other life forms exist. I think it's kind of, I think 100%. The conspiracy theory stuff, I feel like, comes in. What's your take on abductions and probes and that kind of thing?
Well, and that's the part where it's so hard for me because I was looking up some claims and you hear these people talking about them and the things they're saying are so absurd. But then the way they're talking, I'm like, oh, but I kind of believe him.
Right.
He seems so honest and truthful. And that's where it's so hard for me I don't want to just be like, no, you're crazy. Obviously that never happened.
Yeah, because I feel like that's what you want to do.
Yeah, but they seem so truthful. You know what I mean? It's like, who am I to say
yeah.
So that's where it's like, okay, did maybe they see something and then the brain's a powerful thing and they start to even subconsciously start to create this this story. The weird ones are where there's multiple people who corroborate the same story.
Right.
So it's like, so are these people getting together and like
right, I know.
hatching this scheme? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel so much about abductions. But again, my take on it is kind of...
You can't have the same take, Sam.
I don't. As you?
No.
Oh, you mean on everything?
Said again.
Oh.
I was just joking.
Do I think there's life outside of us in the universe? 100%. Do I think it's possible that they're so much more technologically advanced that they've been able to come here? Sure. Why not? Anything's possible. Do I think they're living amongst us? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I don't necessarily. I also think it's like so arrogant of us to like think
that they'd even be interested in us.
Yeah, that they would care, that they would have anything to learn from us. So, like, we just obviously think we're the best.
Next week on Earth.
Yeah.
Remember that from South Park? Earth's a reality show. Next week on Earth, where they put all Earth's. Every other planet is like all giraffes. And like all whales. And then Earth is where they just put everybody together to see how we would do and made it a reality show.
Exactly. Like, that's what I feel like. I feel like Earth would kind of be like the laughing stock of the galaxies. You know? It's like, look at Earth over here. They still have poverty. What are they doing?
Oh, man.
I also was reading about aliens, and I found this term called space trash, which I thought was really hilarious, where it's like this one guy in this like Harvard Gazette paper was just like, yeah, you can pretty much, I pretty much relate every finding of like spacecraft. It's space trash. Like, yeah, there's a possibility that like stuff just flies from other galaxies and does every once in a while land here.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it was intentional.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool. Space trash.
Yeah.
I guess that wasn't that interesting. I thought it was funny at the time.
It was hilarious at the time. Really.
You even made a note of it. Space trash. You want to talk about that? I guess it's not that cool. I thought it was cool.
All right, let's see. We got Loch Ness.
Oh, also known as Nessie.
Nessie.
So cute.
I kind of believe in Nessie.
Do you?
A little bit.
I mean, I believe that there's probably some like crazy reptile in the lake that some guy ran into, and then he was like, it's the monster. And then it just, you know, snowballed.
Right. So it's 755 feet deep. That's pretty deep.
That is pretty deep.
Yeah. And because at first I was like, okay, how big is Loch Ness? Like, are we talking like this is a pond in somebody's backyard? Like,
it's kind of what I was picturing.
Yeah. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
21 square miles and then 755 feet deep. It's like the second deepest loch, whatever that means, in Scotland. So it's pretty deep. There are a couple of compelling pictures that have not been debunked as fakes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they had all been debunked.
No, most of them have. There was two that it's like inconclusive. I don't know. I mean, it definitely, and the two that haven't been debunked as fakes, it looks more like almost like a stingray kind of, as opposed to like a brontosaurus.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's so much we don't know about our oceans. Like, who knows what the hell's out there?
Talk about space. It's like a whole nother galaxy down there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Terrifying. The ocean. Isn't
there some like conspiracy theory that like the bottom of the ocean is the start of outer space?
That sounds right to me. I would believe that.
Who knows?
Yeah. There's probably a black hole down there.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Because there's those like
I'm sure of it.
There's those crevices that we don't know anything about.
Crevasses.
And like apparently we still haven't been able to figure out where blue whales spawn.
Ooh. Yeah, fascinating. I mean,
because we can't go so deep. I mean,
No.
and I can't imagine that like a whale is going that deep, but
or that like anything can live down there.
I know the invertebrates can like live anywhere.
Yeah, it's wild.
But anyway, I don't know.
So many creatures.
I kind of believe in Nessie.
I mean that it once existed. Because is the thing that it's like still out there?
I don't know about that. Because the first sighting of it was in 565 AD.
Yeah.
And then nothing was said about it again until 1933. So it is, what's the word I'm looking for?
Old?
Never dying. What's the word for never dying? It is an undead creature.
What is the word? God, it's like right on the tip of my tongue.
What is it?
I'm not gonna be able to think about it now that we're trying to think of it.
Good Lord. It's like
trying to think of is evergreen, but that's not.
No, evergreen's not quite right. No. Anyway, there's been various expeditions with inconclusive results. Yeah. But, it definitely hasn't been alive since 565 AD, though. Yeah. So
the Loch Ness definitely sounds to me of one that's like, your uncle's trying to scare you and creating a story, and then it just stuck. Like, like community lore.
Yeah. Well, I asked my husband, I was like, so what's your take on Loch Ness? And he was like, well, isn't that just like the Indiana or like the Mount Hood Sasquatch? He's like, people just are trying to get you to come there and like buy a snow globe.
Yeah. I know. I was surprised.
Like, that's a good take. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think it's a huge tourism thing. Like, you got to keep this alive because this is our only...
Right. This is the only reason people are coming to Loch Ness. I will say, the pictures of Nessie that have not been debunked are much more compelling than any picture of Sasquatch.
Well, there's only like that one, I feel like, of Sasquatch. Also, I watched a documentary on Sasquatch. I feel like Sasquatch is definitely one where it's just like, it's become a community. It's like a conspiracy theory where it's almost like a club where it's like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
It's camaraderie. It brings us all together. It's something we can all do.
Right.
Which I don't think most conspiracy...
Nessie,
some conspiracy theories do that, maybe. In a way, but in more of like a lighthearted way.
Yeah.
But then also the dude who... one of the guys in the documentary straight up like admitted to putting on the suit and
and doing it. Yeah. Well, remember when there was that dead one that was a fake like 10 or 15 years ago? It was like a body of one, and then it turned out to be a big hoax. Yeah. My dad is deep in Sasquatch. Like, he believes. Oh yeah, he believes.
What does he believe?
That it exists 100%.
But does he believe that it's like a human sort of that lives in the woods?
Yeah. Whatever they say about it, he believes it.
Yeah.
That it's like, shares a lot of its DNA with us, but basically...
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those where it's not so unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like, sure, I would imagine that there's a possibility of like
a species,
an animal
species that we don't know about.
Yeah, that is close to in between us and a monkey. Like, it's not that crazy.
It's not that crazy, but it's also kind of like, I think we would have figured it out by now.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I think
there would have been
be able to track it and like truly get.
I mean, we've developed so much of this country, like,
and it would be
we wouldn't have run.
It would be different if it was living in this like super remote area, which I realize maybe like Mount Hood, Oregon is, but like Indiana is not. Okay, it's like the Hoosier National Forest. I mean, I think we could find it if it was, because there's theories of it being here.
Yeah,
so it's like.
Somebody would have...
We'll find it.
It would have been breaking into a dumpster or something at some point.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, because we've got the moon landing, which,
yeah.
That definitely happened.
For sure. Yep, we could just pretty much check that off the list. The thing that's funny about the moon landing, though, is that guy who worked for NASA wrote a freaking book about it.
About how it was fake?
Yeah. It's just like, there's always one nut job, out there who's just like I said, adding fuel to the fire and just like, oh, well... That's all the corroboration anyone needs.
Yeah.
This guy from NASA pretty much said, yeah, sure. All this weird stuff was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, the moon landing, that happened as far as I'm concerned. Now, Elvis faking his death, I feel like that could 100% be true.
Oh, sure. I mean, Elvis was a weird guy.
I feel like that 100% could be true. I feel like other people could have done it. I mean, did you hear about that guy recently who faked his death?
No.
Okay. This guy did like one of those, people do like the man on the street interviews, like comedians and stuff. Uh-huh. He did one. And all these people were like coming out being like, is
George?
That? Yes. And it was, Hollis.
No way.
He faked his own death because he was cheating on his wife.
Oh my God.
And like they literally thought he was dead for like a certain number of years. I can't remember how long it was.
No way.
And the whole thing has come out now. He's admitted it.
George, what a dummy.
Yeah.
Who does?
So if George can do it,
Yeah.
I feel like Elvis could do it.
Sure. I just feel like Elvis probably loved the spotlight a little too much to really fake his death and like get away with it.
I also feel like he definitely had some issues that could have led to his actual death.
Troubled man. Seemed.
Yeah. And then this one I thought was funny, the Paul McCartney replacement.
Yeah.
That he died in a car accident and that they replaced him.
Yeah.
With this, and I can't remember now, but they're like very specific about they replaced him with this guy.
Yeah, a guy who won a lookalike contest, which has not even been confirmed that lookalike contest ever actually happened. But they've just decided that was the story.
Oh my gosh.
And you know how it started? It was a kid wrote a column about it in a school newspaper in Detroit. And that's what like started the whole thing.
The Big Lebowski.
Yeah. It's just like, what a claim to fame to be that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I started the... Because that's another thing about conspiracy theories. It's like, where did they start?
Yeah.
You know, like, where do they actually...
Well, this one, had a lot of information.
Yeah.
'Cause sometimes they don't, and this one was like very specific. Anyway, I don't think so, but...
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of... we were talking about the replacement ones, and I was going through and trying to find...
There's a bunch.
There's a ton of them, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that ties in closely with the clones.
Yeah.
People saying that, like, Kanye West is a clone.
Right.
And, like, what it's like
Yeah,
the
it's very
Illuminati
much
kind of
almost the
controls
same
that
thing.
and has, like, replaced him with a clone, and, like, Britney Spears is a clone.
Yeah. I think it says more about, like, our obsession with celebrity culture and, like, how we, like, glorify these people and that, like, celebrities can't go through anything or change ever. They must be this perfect image that we have of them forever.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it is, but that's one of the crazier ones. Now, I do think there could be some truth to the LA tunnels. I really do.
Yeah, I don't know much about the LA tunnels other than they just...
Okay, so basically there's this whole conspiracy that there's all of these tunnels underground in LA and like you have to be of like a certain elite status to be able to use these tunnels. One of the most like recent stories that has come out is this guy came out on like TikTok or something and did this whole series about how he worked at the Starbucks that's in one of these tunnels.
Oh.
And that's where like, all the celebrities can go and like get their coffee. And then there was another story about a girl who supposedly was in a car and they went into one of these tunnels and that they went to another location. And she said it felt like they weren't in the tunnel like that long really. And then they came out, went to like some party or went to a spa, a house or something. And then she ended up like having to get herself home. And when she like went to get her Uber or something, she realized she was like 40 minutes away from like her house. And they had been close to her house when they like went into the tunnel or something.
That sounds so familiar. Did somebody make like a short movie about that or something?
I don't know. I can't remember now where I heard it. But that was the other story I heard about it.
Oh, I totally believe this.
What?
The LA tunnel thing.
Oh.
That sounds like totally some rich LA people shit.
Yeah, I feel like that. Now, whether or not... Because the way that this woman was talking about it almost made it sound like it was a little bit of like time traveling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, which... Who knows, though, as a crow flies, maybe you do get someplace faster. And LA traffic's supposed to be horrible,
right?
So who knows?
It did feel like a time warp, yeah. How disappointing, though, to go into the tunnel and Starbucks be the coffee you get. There better be some, like, primo coffee down there.
Yeah, like...
Starbucks.
What's the word? Not small batch. What's the word? Like small batch whiskey is like the... What's the one for coffee? There's some term for, like, the elite coffee.
I can't think of it.
I can't either.
I can't think of any words today.
Well, that's a big problem for us.
Yeah, words are hard.
Can't come up with the words on our talk show.
We didn't promise words on this talk show. Okay?
Yeah, I know.
Hot takes is what we promise.
That's right. I don't know how hot they are, but that's all right.
Warm takes is what we're serving up in this podcast.
Takes. All right.
What was I feel like there was one more that we were supposed to talk about. Birds aren't real. That was the last one.
Yeah.
Which also kind of ties back into the drones thing, because I feel like that's what he posed, that,
yes,
birds were drones.
Yeah. Yeah, the only reason that I included that is because it's not really a true conspiracy theory. It was him
Satire,
trying
kind
to give an example of how these things sort of take on a life and become something.
Yeah, he's trying to clown on conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. I can't remember his name. But yeah, it was basically a guy started just posting all of this stuff about birds not being real, and they were like drones or cameras. And yeah, it took on a whole life and like became a thing. And then he, revealed that, hey, this was basically a social experiment.
Yeah.
To see like.
Yeah, Peter McIndoe.
Yeah.
And I think it's hilarious too, because he's like a college dropout, I'm pretty sure, and then has turned this into like a career.
Right.
Now he does like performance art, kind of does the same things, does TED Talks, goes around and like speaks and stuff. It's just like such a Gen Z thing to do. You're like, yeah, screw you guys, I'm making a career out of just blowing up ridiculous behavior. Did you see have you watched some of his like news station interviews?
No.
I mean, it's also hard for me to believe that anyone believed it, because he's acting, but not very well.
Right.
It's like so clearly fake.
Right. Well, I think that was part of it. Like that's part of the point, though.
Yeah. I mean, he stuck with it. Like he would be interviewed and he would just be like, they'd be like, well, this is a joke, right? And he'd be like, well, that's offensive that you would say that. But it's still just like obvious to most, I think. And then there was one where he like pretend threw up on screen. It was really weird. It was just like kind of funny that the whole thing actually had legs. Or wings. Hot takes and jokes, folks.
That's what we got. And no words for anything.
Sorry.
No words for someone who never dies. Still couldn't tell you the word for that. Immortal.
I was about to say never die.
Immortal. Nessie is immortal.
Nessie is immortal.
Oh my God. Never dies. She's a never dyer. Old Ness.
Nessie never dies. Nessie lives. Pod title.
But one thing we didn't get into with clones is, do you believe we have the capability to clone a human?
Oh. Ooh. I'm sure we do.
Yeah. I think we probably do.
Especially.
Now, do I think it's going to be...
like a working one?
Yeah. Like, do I think like fully... No.
Probably not.
Yeah. I think there's definitely... it's not going to go off without a hitch.
Yeah. I mean... And I'm sure
going to be some hitching.
In like reproductive medicine, they can like surely clone embryos already.
Oh,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Aren't they doing that already?
I'm sure of it.
So,
yeah.
Do we have
with
the capability?
Stem cells
I bet,
and growth hormones and all that stuff? Like, I'm sure we're able to use stem cells and stuff to clone. But again, it's like, who knows how successfely at this point. So... Because, when they cloned the lamb, didn't it, like, die, like, almost immediately? I can't remember. The sheep or whatever it was. Yeah.
It had, like, 3 hearts or enlarged.
Something, yeah.
Don't quote me on that. I have no idea if that's really what happened.
This is a science podcast.
I am a scientist.
But... I think Kanye or Britney are clones.
No, poor Britney. Leave Britney alone.
I know. Justice for Britney. Justice for Britney and justice for Blake, honestly.
Right. People's teeth move in age. Leave her alone. Maybe she just had the hardest life ever. We all
Oh my God. That's right. Jeez Louise. Poor Britney. Well, hopefully things...
Kanye couldn't care less.
Yeah. Kanye can kick rocks.
Oh,
all right.
Goodness.
Should we move into some grapes and gripes?
Sure.
Okay. My gripe.
Let's hear it.
It's food related again.
Oh, all right.
It's food packaging.
Ooh, yeah.
Specifically, though, when you're trying to peel apart the cheese stick and you just can't get it, even though it's separated. You just can't get your finger in there.
Yeah.
And then things like sour cream or yogurt, when they have that plastic around the rim.
Oh, it's impossible.
And they don't give you like a thumb tab.
Yeah. Or the thumb tab's too small.
Yeah.
Like, I can't grip this.
Why?
Yeah. Or you pull it off and like it never pulls completely off.
No, it just pulls off in a strip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
That's my gripe.
Yeah. And the ones on like mustard and stuff where they have like the clear piece in the middle that you're supposed to pull. Those are really hard too.
Yeah.
I guess I need to work on my hand strength this year too, but grip strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, packaging in general is just out of control, especially if you're being conscious of consumption.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh my gosh, everything's in crazy plastic.
If I have to cut another one of those like tag, like the plastic part that holds the tag onto something.
Oh, yeah.
Like why
like
when you buy socks are there 712 of those things holding all the socks together?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And like, forget about getting a child's toy out of the packaging.
Oh.
You know how many zip ties?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I remember for one of your kids' birthdays, I got her something that was zip tied, and I was like, there's 40 zip ties on this thing.
It's insane.
Okay, what's your grape?
My grape is going to our sober era.
Hell yeah. I love it.
I love it. Nice I can't wait to see how much of the world we're going to conquer.
I know. The future's bright right now. Okay, my gripe is also driving related.
Of course.
Okay, so this one goes out to people.
Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
This one is not me. This is all you other people who tint your front windows and your dash completely dark so you can't see through. Like, guys, we have to communicate with our hand motions and our facial expressions while we drive.
Yeah.
We're at a stop sign or whatever, and you're trying to give me the wave, but I cannot see through your tint.
Right. Yeah.
It blows my mind. I mean, my windows are tinted, and I do agree. Tinted windows look better. They just do. They're more aesthetically pleasing.
People want to pick their noses.
Right. In your back seat, fine. Tint away. But my front windows are not as tinted as my back. I mean, they came that way. It's not like I went out and tinted them myself.
Right.
But
it's not an aftermarket tint.
No. It's a stock tint. But yeah, it drives me nuts. Or like these people. Who do you think you are? And they expect people to just read their minds.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think they're thinking. That's how it feels.
Well, and I want to know what makes
and
you
like,
think
what are
that
you doing
so
in
important?
there?
Yeah.
I know. What are you doing in there?
I feel the same way about the people who have the tinted thing over their license plate so that you can't see it until you're right behind them. Yeah. What's the point of having that? The only reason to have that is because you're driving like an asshole.
Yeah. I know.
And that you don't want people to be able to see your license plate as you're speeding away from your asshole driving moment.
Right. Yeah. Just
we care if you're looking at your cell phone.
Yeah. And also, if you're giving me the wave, I'd like to be able to see it.
But are people giving waves in their tinted vehicles?
Well, that's what I imagine is happening. We're at a stop sign and they're like, go ahead, but I can't see them because their window's tinted. So we both sit there like, what's going on?
You know what I mean? Light flash.
There's still communication that needs to happen with your hand signals and your face. And what if they needed to mug me or be like, hey, great driving, and I wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah, if they wanted to give you some accolades, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, and that's probably what's really happening. They're probably like, hey, your hair looks great today, but I can't read their lips through their tinted window.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Anyways. And my grape goes to my new job.
Oh, good.
I love it. Yeah, things are great there. Thanks.
Awesome.
To that establishment that has employed me.
Shout out to my employment establishment, which I cannot name on this podcast. Yes.
But yeah.
All right.
That's it for me.
I think we've covered all the bases.
Yup.
Okay, bye.
Bye.